In this episode, I'm going to show you how to network in 3 different situations. I'm Greg, I'm the Introverted Networker, and today I want to talk about 3 different personas, 3 different types of people, 3 different stages of a networking journey, because we're not all in the same spot. Some of us are in different places in our networking, and we're in different situations. Now, as I go through and describe these personas, you may think, hey, that's me. And that's great, because if that's you, I'm going to give you some strategies and tactics to help you be a better networker. Number 1, the first thing we're going to talk about is an introvert who has a job but feels like they need to network. And honestly, this is the best situation you can be in. If you're an introvert and you already have a job and you're not really looking for a new job, it's the perfect time to be networking. And it's also a trap. If you're in this situation, it's very easy to think to yourself, I don't need to network. I'll do it later. I'll find time for it in the future. Those are traps. Being in a job that you're happy with is the perfect time to network. It's when you should be networking. And I'll tell you why. Number 1, it takes all the pressure off. You're not looking to move. You're not going to be asking anybody to help you find a job. You're simply going to be reaching out to people and connecting with them. And you might think, well, if I'm not looking for a job, people are going to wonder why I'm connecting with them. What am I going to tell them? Well, first off, let's talk about how you would go about this if you were networking and you had a job. When the pressure's off, you can go slower. You can take your time. You can spend 15 minutes a day looking for new people to connect with, or 15 minutes a day reconnecting with the people who are already in your network. If you've seen any of my videos, read my newsletter, my book, I always say start with who you know. And starting with who you know when you already have a job and you don't need anything is perfect. You can reach out to those people you've worked with in the past. You can reach out to alumni from your university or college. You can reach out to friends, family, other people in your communities and just say, hey, how are you doing? What's going on with you? Having a very simple conversation where there's nothing expected. And really what you're trying to do in this situation is find ways to help other people. So again, you're not really needing anything other than to build connections and build what I would say networking karma. So you're reaching out to people saying, hey, how are you doing? Haven't talked to you in a while. Would love to talk to you for 15, 20 minutes, having a voice-to-voice conversation. And then you're trying to find ways to help other people. If you start helping other people and they say something like, hey, you really helped me a lot. What can I do for you? When you have a job and you're not trying to find an opportunity, what you can say is, I'd really love to connect with this type of person. Do you know anybody like that? Can you connect me? And that's easy for them to do. So again, when you have a job, it's pretty straightforward. You reconnect, you have conversations, and then you try to find ways to help people. Again, the giving part of this is so critical because even if you don't need anything now, people are going to remember that you helped them. And if it comes to a point where you do want to look for a new job, you've built up sort of that goodwill and people are going to be willing to help you out. Now, like I said, it's easy to look at this and say, I know I need to do that, but I'll do it later. And later turns into never. I say that all the time. But this is the prime time. If you're somebody who's listening to this or reading this newsletter this week and you're happy with your job, you're not looking for anything else, start now. Start small. Start with one connection a week and just keep doing that and see where that goes. It will pay off dividends in the future. Okay, so that's the easiest one. But again, like I said, it's so easy to get into the trap because then you could be the second persona, which is the introvert who has a job but is looking for a new role. And so this might happen because your company got bought by another company and you're thinking, oh man, I don't know if I'm going to have a job here for very much longer. Or you had a great boss and your boss retired and now you have a new boss and you're thinking, me and the new boss don't get along so well. Maybe I should look for another role. Or you're looking at your company and they're not really performing and you're thinking, I don't know what the long-term financial prospects for this company are going to be. Even if you have a job right now, lots of things can change. It's something that will happen, and you may not necessarily get fired or laid off, but you're thinking, I probably need to start looking for a new role. So how do you do this? Because you're worried. You think, I have a job, but I'm going to get out on LinkedIn. I'm going to start connecting with people. I'm going to start commenting on posts. I'm going to start talking to people, having conversations, and everybody I work with is going to think, oh, he's looking for a new job. I've heard people say that. They say they're worried about getting on LinkedIn and engaging because they think their boss is going to think they're looking for a new job. So my question back is always, if you're worried about your boss seeing you on LinkedIn, I guess the question is, what's your boss doing on LinkedIn? I can't really say if this happens or not, but I've never seen companies have people dedicated to monitoring their employees' LinkedIn. It could happen and it could be out there. Really, what people are worried about is their other colleagues seeing them engage, seeing them comment, seeing them post, and saying to their coworkers or their boss or the thing, hey, Greg spends a lot of time on LinkedIn. Maybe he's looking for a new job. So what I would say to that is, if anybody ever asks you or brings that up, there's three things you can say. You can say, number one, I'm on LinkedIn to find more knowledge. There's industry experts out there. People are posting good things. So I follow them to try to learn from them. So I'm trying to gain new knowledge for my role. Also, there's a lot of great talent out there. So our team could grow by people I connect with on LinkedIn. I'd love to be able to bring people on the team that are really good that I met through my networking. So I'm networking to find people to bring into the organization. And the last thing is, I'm doing this for career insurance. I don't need a job today, but who knows what could happen with our company in the future. And I would love to have my network ready to go. I'm not looking to leave right now, but things change and you never know what can happen. So that's why I'm building my network now. So there's like three ways you can deal with somebody asking you, one of your coworkers saying, hey, you're on LinkedIn, a lot of you looking for a new job. Now, you might be looking for a new job. And so those three answers are good cover for you as you're searching for a new job and want to get active on LinkedIn. So there's three ways you can cover yourself, or I don't want to say cover your tracks because you're not trying to hide on LinkedIn. But if you're worried about showing up on LinkedIn, about commenting, about posting, sharing things, those are three good reasons that you can give people if they ever ask you. So you're looking for a new role. You do the same things as what you would be doing if you weren't looking for a new role, but you might have to do more of them and you might have to do it a little more quickly. Meaning, if I told you to connect with one person when you weren't looking for a job, maybe you want to connect with one person every day instead of one person a week. So up the volume, up the number of people that you're going to connect with. Now, you may increase the number of people and you may not necessarily increase the conversion rate, meaning moving from a connection to a conversation to an opportunity. And at the same time, you're going to need to increase your volume if you're looking for a new job. And you're going to want to get very targeted. So if you're looking for a job, you got to get even more targeted on types of jobs you want, the people who have those jobs, and connect with them. Now, again, remember, you have a job. You're not unemployed at this point. So you have a job. You can, again, up your volume here and target a little bit more, but you're still just trying to gather information from people. So you're doing a lot of informational interviews with people who maybe have jobs that you are interested in or work at companies you're interested in. And again, it can be very casual. Hey, I noticed you worked at this company. I'd love to talk to you more what that's like. I'm free these days. Do you have 15 minutes that we can maybe talk? Be very respectful of people's time here, because if you make it easy for them to connect with you and have a short conversation, they're likely to do it. If you say, I need an hour to pick your brain, and by the way, don't ever say pick your brain. People are tired of hearing pick your brain. So please take that phrase out of your vocabulary. Just be upfront. Say, hey, I'm really interested in the company you work at, and I would really love to get somebody who's inside that company's point of view on what it's like working there. It's just your opinions, your point of view. Would love to hear from you. And leave it at that and see where that goes. So if you're an introvert with a job, but you're looking for a new role, you can employ the same strategy and approach. You just want to increase your volume and get a little more targeted than if you have a job and you're not really looking around and you can afford to spend a little bit more time exploring new connections. The last one is the introvert who doesn't have a job. This is where you don't want to be. You do not want to be starting your networking when you don't have a job. At the same time, most people go through this, myself included. The very first time I got laid off, I had not networked. I hadn't connected with people. I hadn't stayed in touch with people. And I was that introvert without a job. It's okay. There's no shame in it. Don't feel bad. It is still possible to network with people without a job. You're going to have to do a couple things. Number one, you're really going to have to up your volume of the number of people you reach out to and try to connect with. Again, I know sometimes that's uncomfortable because it feels like I'm saying it's a numbers game. It kind of is, because you're going to need to talk to a lot of people to try to find the next opportunity. Maybe you'll get lucky on the first few people and it pans out, but in most cases, you're going to spend a lot of time connecting with people. Some people think they should be out applying online for jobs all day when they're unemployed. I would say spend less time doing that and more time connecting. If you were going to spend a couple hours a day applying, I would cut that in half and put that effort towards connecting with people. But it's still going to be the same thing. You're still going to go to the people that you know, that you worked with in the past, all those colleagues that you've met throughout your career that you've lost touch with, and try to reconnect with them. Try to have voice-to-voice conversations. Try to find ways to give them advice or recommendations or introductions. But when they say, how can I help you? You're going to have a very specific list of target companies that you're going to give them. You're going to have a physical list of companies where you're interested in working, and you're going to hand it to them or send it to them so that they can take it with them, so they can think about people they could introduce you to at one of those companies. And you're going to have to accept the fact that people will think when they connect with you that you want them to get a job. You don't have a job. Maybe you have the looking for work banner on your LinkedIn, or maybe people know, or you've sent the note that says, hey, I'm looking for a new role. And they're going to think, oh gosh, this person's hoping I get them a job. Be very honest and upfront when you talk to these people and say things like, I understand that you probably think I'm hoping you're going to get me a job. And what I really am looking for is your point of view, your advice, and if there's anybody you know that you can introduce me to, just introduce me. You don't have to pass my resume along. You don't have to vouch for me. Just, I'm going to tell you what I'm looking for. I'm going to tell you where I'm looking, what companies. And if you know of anything, I would love your help. If you don't, that's great. No problem. Let's stay in touch and connect when I land. Be upfront about it. Don't be ashamed, because like I said, a lot of people have been there in the past. A lot more people are there right now. There's nothing wrong with being out of work and looking for a new job. So please don't shy away from networking because you feel embarrassed or ashamed. You're never going to find that next role unless you get out and network and allow people to help you. But you have to be very careful about what you ask, and you have to be very specific and targeted about what you ask. So those are the 3 different personas, 3 different ways you can kind of use my 5-step method. Because again, I have a 5-step method. I'll link to it in the comments here, but it's a free course, basically a video you watch. I walk you through the 5 steps. We'll show you how to network as an introvert. It works in any one of these personas. It works in any one of these cases. You just have to tweak it a little bit for whatever situation you're in, and it will change the way you think about networking. Take a look at it. Let me know what you think. So check out the newsletter, subscribe to the newsletter. There's a lot of different ways I can get in touch with you. I can help you. I would love to hear what you're struggling with or what challenges you have, and try to find a way to help you. I would also love to hear if some of this stuff works. If you go out and you try this and you have success, please tell me that as well. Until next time, as I said, my name is Greg. I'm the Introverted Networker. Go out, meet some interesting people, and remember, always be connecting.